Hey guys, so I did something that your average New Yorker would not consider doing, something wild and crazy. I went to go see the ball drop on New Year's for 2024. What possessed me to go? It was really pretty much a last minute idea. It was my teenage son that asked to go. And even though I told him what to expect, the all day wait, the cold, he still wanted to go. So given the fact that I'm getting older, I'm in good shape right now, good health, we live close by, I figured you don't know what tomorrow brings. Let's make this memory happen. And so we did it. So because I tried to Google information to make sure that we made it front and center, I've made 2 attempts to go and we were always too far back. So I wanted to know the details, when to get there, what to expect, what should we bring. So I wanted to be really prepared this time. And so I tried Googling and there's really not a lot of info. YouTube had a couple of people that actually posted their tips, and so they were very helpful to me. So I figured I'd make a video to help others. It's a little more updated and also adds my perspective. Right, so how do you know that this is for you in the first place? First of all, your desire has to be very strong to be there, because that's what's going to push you to the finish line. When you get the urge of like, maybe I should leave, I don't want to be here, you really have to have the desire to do it for whatever personal reason. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to have a strong bladder. There are no bathrooms, so if you have a weak bladder, this is not for you. Also, you have to be able to withstand cold weather. It is winter in New York City, but if the temperature is in the 30s and up, it's manageable. Also, if you're claustrophobic, this is not for you. There's going to be about 1 million people there. Everyone's going to be close to each other. It's very tight. So if you're claustrophobic, it might not be for you. Also, if you have sensory issues with loud noises, that might not be for you, because it's going to be a lot of loud noise, music, people cheering, screaming. So that might not be for you if it's too overwhelming for you. Also, if you cannot fast, I don't recommend it. I think that it's best if you limit your eating and your drinking so that you don't have the urge to use the bathroom. So if that's going to be an issue for you for health reasons, or if you know yourself that you can't go for hours without eating or drinking, then it's not for you. So the action is anywhere between 43rd Street to 49th Street. That's where you'll be able to see the ball and hear what's going on. Anything above 49th Street, it's going to be hard to hear and hard to see. So I was actually between 46th and 47th Street. So if you're by Duffy Square, that's where all of the action is. That's where the main attraction is. You have the stages there and you're in good view of the ball drop. So when you get there, make sure that you don't stand behind the barricades that say FDNY, do not enter, because those will not open. So you're going to have to go around. So I was standing right there thinking that that's where they were going to open, but no. But it didn't matter. I got in and I got to stand at a good spot. What time should you get there? Okay, so the pens open at 10 a.m. What are the pens? The pens are the designated spots that are marked by barricades. So when you arrive, you're going to see a lot of barricades. You cannot get through. There are some police officers. And then around 10 a.m., between 10 and 11 a.m., depending on how many people are there, is when they open. When I went there, the weather was great. It was sunny. So, of course, the most amount of people were going to be there by that time. So I knew that the weather was going to be good. So I decided not to get there by 10 a.m. as some people suggested. I actually got there at 8:30. The person next to me got there at 6 a.m. When I got there at 8:30, there were about maybe 40 people, not a lot of people, about 40 people. So use your judgment. By 9:30, it was full. They were ready. The police got in position. They were ready to let everyone in, but they ended up opening everything around 10 a.m. Okay, what are you not allowed to bring? You're not allowed to bring a chair. You're not allowed to bring backpacks. They're very strict about that. You're not allowed to bring a blanket. However, there was an officer that said that if you put it under your coat and you wrap it like a scarf, they'll allow it. But if you come in holding a blanket, they will confiscate it. You're also not allowed to bring liquor, obviously weapons, no umbrellas. And I think that's pretty much it. What should you bring? Okay, obviously dress in layers. I had on thermals, I had on a thick sweatshirt, and I had gloves. I had a hoodie, and then my coat hoodie, a scarf, a thick scarf. Plan to keep things that will keep you busy. I brought a book. If you have a phone charger, a portable phone charger, bring that. I didn't. This was a last minute idea, so I didn't think of it, and it would have been useful. So what I did was I just didn't use my phone until showtime, which was 6 p.m. And other than documenting certain things, but I tried not to use my phone. And by 1 o'clock, there's going to be things to entertain you as performers come in to rehearse. So I think that if you can make it from, okay, they open the pens at 10 a.m., from 10 to 1, it's really not that bad, because after 1 o'clock, things start happening, you get distracted. Also, if you come with company, you can entertain each other. And if you come alone or you don't have a lot of company, you can also make friends there. Everybody is in the mood to have a good time, so everybody's friendly. You get to meet people. So if you're not a people person, it might not be a good idea. I don't consider myself a people person, but I was just so excited to be there that I socialized with everyone around me. Okay, so the bathroom is a hot topic. So yeah, you cannot use a bathroom. Once you leave your spot, that's it. You lose your spot. So after you've invested all the time to get there and to wait, you don't want to leave. So what do people do? It wasn't until I arrived there that I started realizing what options. For instance, if you're a male, you can bring an empty bottle and really be discreet about it. You can get away with that. Women, when I came home, I started looking up, because I thought, if that's an option for men, there has to be something for women. And yes, you can wear a diaper. However, do you want to stay in the cold with a soiled diaper? Like, what's that going to be like? I was not interested in that option. But I did see that there's a portable urinal for women. So that's something that you can try to explore. I don't know how it works. Be prepared in bringing like a heavy scarf or something so that you can be discreet. I have no idea how that would work. I haven't met anybody that did it successfully, but if you really want to be prepared, you might want to look into that as an option. So I brought snacks and food in a thermos, but I did not eat. Actually, I ate a bag of chips and I ate some candy, but I didn't eat everything that I brought or that I planned to eat, because I wanted to push myself to see how far I could go without eating. I mean, if I felt myself faint or dizzy or nauseous, then obviously I would eat. But there was just so much excitement that I didn't really feel the urge to eat. So yeah, apart from the snacks that I mentioned. And I didn't drink anything either. And I managed to get through. So here's pretty much the rundown in a timely sequence. So 10 a.m. they open the pens, and then around 1 o'clock-ish, performers start appearing to rehearse, and they do that all the way up to 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is showtime. So they do a countdown, and then the ball goes up at 6 p.m. and then we start seeing the performances, and it really helps the time go by when they start rehearsing. And one thing that they should have done is to have a DJ. I think that would have helped the time go by faster, to hype the crowd. They did play music, but having a DJ, there's nothing like having a DJ to hype you up. So that would have been good. And also, they have a lot of screens down there, but they're used mostly for ads, and it would have been nice if they would have used the screen to, I don't know, maybe put a movie or a show, or just to put stuff to keep the crowd entertained and also to show different angles of the stages. There are some options if going to Times Square and sitting out or standing out in the cold for so long is not an option for you. There are options. There are about 3 hotels. There's the Westin, the Crowne Plaza, the Marriott Marquis. And if you book a room in advance, I hear sometimes you have to book like a year out in advance. Although I did check overnight and there was a room available at the Marquis. But for that, you're going to have to shell out about $1,000. It's going to cost you. And if you want to split that with a friend or 2, then that's an option. So if you do rent a room at any of these hotels, you do get passes, and there are reserved spots for their guests. So you don't have to camp out all night. You can come down 15 minutes before the ball drops and you're in good view. Or you can rent a room that has a view if you want to stay indoors away from the cold. So those are your options. There are also restaurants in the area that offer event packages, but they are costly. I found that they were more costly than renting a room, honestly. So those are some options to consider. But even though staying out in the cold for so many hours was not the ideal thing to do, that minute where we're all gathered together doing the countdown, watching the ball drop, having the confetti hit you, hearing Frank Sinatra there in person, obviously not him, but the music, it was totally worth it. And then watching some of my favorite celebrities singing and seeing them so close, it was totally worth it. I am so glad that my son dragged me there, but ultimately I was the one that dragged him to the finish line because he was pretty much over it by 12 p.m. But we did it. And if you have any tips, if you've gone before and you have any other tips to share, please do so in the comments. And Happy New Year!